Hey y'all, it's Michelle from the Scattered Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. Today is day 18 of Scrap-O-Ween. It's Trick or Treat Tuesday and I've got all my supplies out. I have the picture that I'm going to be scrapping. I've got some stencils. I have some sprays. So let's see if this will be a trick or a treat. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is get my splat box out. And I just have some white basil cardstock and marshmallow. And I have this stencil here from Scrapping Reflections. Sandie, she owns the Scrapping Reflections store. And she sells a lot of stencils. And I love them. And she has a YouTube channel here called Steakgoddess. And I saw her do this technique, and that's what made me want to give it a try. And she did it, and it's amazing. And I'm giving it a try, and I'm like, I need more practice. But I just have some greens, some greens and oranges that I'm using. And I've got a combination of the Distress ink sprays and the Distress oxide sprays, and they both have a little bit of a different look to them. And then I'm also using my Distress mica stains. So I'm doing a stencil print, and my stencil came up with my cardstock, so I had to pull it off. But oh, look how cool that is. I love it. And now I have two backgrounds for the effort of basically just one. Because I have the one with the polka dots on it, and I have this one that has the negative print. And I just love how this turned out. The mica stains they shimmer on it, and then the oxides give it kind of this really cool mottled look, and I just love it. I think it's so cool. It is definitely a technique that I want to play around with and get better at. So I've got my picture here, and this is a picture. Basically it's a screenshot that I got from Janet's RTS scrapbooking Patreon page. Because last year, when I very first did this series, she did a little post about my series, and I was so touched and so flattered that she even knows I exist, for one thing, and then that she was so sweet to let other people know about the series that I was doing. So, of course, I have to make a layout about that. And that's what this picture here is just the screenshot I took on my phone about her post. Now, this picture that she has on here is not mine. She said where it came from. I should have written it down because it's not on the screenshot, but I didn't do that. So, but no, that picture is not mine. That's a layout that someone else did, and it is gorgeous. It's definitely one I would love to scrap lift one day. So what I have done here is I've taken this black soot Distress oxide, and I have gone around all of my paper strips and my photo mats, and I even went around my complete layout with the ink. And now I am using this little jack-o'-lantern faces stencil to go around where my picture is going to be and just have these laughing jack-o'-lantern faces kind of bursting out from behind my photo. So this layout is a little busy. I seem to be getting busier and busier in my layouts the longer the month goes along. But that's okay. And because I am loving the jack-o'-lanterns, and in the photo that Miss Janet used is some little girls looking at jack-o'-lanterns. I decided to use that jack-o'-lantern paper there, and then because I do Scrap-O-Ween at my house, I use the little border strip of houses, and now I'm going to use these little banners here from the Echo Park Spooky collection. That's also where the jack-o'-lantern paper and the little haunted house paper came from. So I'm just going to put those there, and then I'm like, they kind of are getting lost. So I decide to pop them up on some foam. And this is from that pack that I got from Hobby Lobby, a couple of weeks back. And it's a little bit thicker than what I prefer. But until I can find that really thin foam, it will have to do. But it does help my little banners to really stand out above my layout or the background, because that background, yep, it's a little busy. But I'm looking here on the sticker sheet trying to figure out what do I want to use. Is there anything on here? So I try out this little witch flying on a broom, and I go ahead and put her up there in the upper right corner, but she's looking a little lonely there, but I didn't really see anything else I wanted to put there yet. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down my banner pieces and get those situated. And then I'm going to use a bit of twine to kind of have something for them to be hanging down from. So I get that on there, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right above each one of my banner pieces and put my twine down. In the past, I have ran a whole line of glue, and I find that that's really overkill. So I just put little dots here and there. So I set that aside to kind of let that dry, and now I'm going to work on my title. And I have these alphas here. They're called Jane alphas, and they have little stars on them. This is from Ellie's Studio. And they have a set where they're just plain, and then they have this set that has the stars on them, and I love both of them, but I love these little star ones. So I get that stamped out, and then also you can get a die set to go with this alpha. I think these would be fairly straightforward to trim out on your own if you don't have a die cutting machine, or if you don't want the dies, but it does make it a whole lot faster. So here I am trimming out an exclamation point, and I just run it through my little sidekick here, and then pop it out. There it is. And I'm just going to do that for the rest of them. And there they are, all popped out. And I'm trying to see how they look, and they're kind of disappearing into the background, even though they're a bright white. They still just kind of, they're not standing out. So I did an experiment, and I ran my alpha dies through the sidekick with some of this foam, and it worked. I was like, oh yes. So now I am popping up all my letters onto some foam. So I've basically made my own stickers, which was exciting. And because I can't seem to finish one thing before going on to the next, I go ahead and tuck that little sticker there behind my little witch, and then I go back to gluing down my title. So my title is What a Treat, because it was such a treat to see that, and Miss Janet just being so gracious in doing a shout out to me. So then I'm like, what else can I put on here? And there was this little bit of space here that was kind of awkward. So I'm like, perfect. It's perfect to put another little jack-o'-lantern down. So I go ahead and do that. And I'm looking to see, is there anything else I want to put on here? And that's when I'm like, ooh, I like this border sticker. So the layout to me looks fine the way it is. But having this really dark border sticker down at the bottom kind of helps weigh it down a little bit. So it just kind of grounds it. And I really like the way that it looks with the scalloped edge. And it's just the perfect length. Usually I would be fussing because it doesn't go all the way across. It's supposed to be a 12-inch, but it's not. But in this case, it's the perfect size. So this corner is looking a little neglected. So I tried out a little Jolie rosette thing, but I didn't really like that. So I ended up with this little Jolie shaker sticker thing, and it's so cute. So I have that on there. And then now I'm trying to figure out what to do with the tails of my twine on this banner. And I try to do loop-de-loops, and I'm just like, this doesn't look right. So what I do instead is I just put a little dot of glue to glue down the ends, and I have them kind of swooshed like they're being blown in the wind. So that's how I'm thinking about that. And then because there's not enough on this background, I now have to also put splatters. And because I used the purple for treat in my title, I'm using my purple mica stain in Fortune Teller to give it a little bit more shimmer and shine. And you would think that I was done, but no, I'm not. Surprise! That was not the last thing I did. No, I decided it needed some enamel dots too. Well, actually, I guess these are more like, I don't know, little rhinestones. So I'm using the purple because I'm like, I need a little more purple to make it make sense. So I get those on there, and they like to stick to the underside of my fingernails, so they can be kind of hard to get on the page. And then here I'm thinking that this needs a little bit more to it. So I'm thinking I'm going to wipe off the mica stain there, but I ended up smearing it instead. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. It's fine. It looks good. I'm going to add some word stickers instead. So down there beside my shaker jack-o'-lantern, I've got the word bewitched. And then up here at the top, I've got hocus pocus. And I kind of struggle a little bit to figure out exactly where I want it to go, because I didn't want the end of the broom to cover up a word. But I get it on there. And then down here in the bottom left-hand corner, I'm going to put this little boo up underneath the T there and tuck it underneath my jack-o'-lantern. And now it's all done. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you're giving some new techniques a try this month. Let me know if you found a new one that you enjoy, or if you've had any that's been a trick instead of a treat. I think this one is definitely a treat, and I will do it again. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.